Now,
in other words, let me ask you, caller.
If your son said, "And I better bring a clip with me," that's not good evidence for you. And you can't hide that from the
No.
police.
Was the
other kid that they were going to meet. Yeah, you're not following her story. That the kid that they were going to meet said that. But let me just ask a question on your behalf, caller. Her sons were going to meet this kid to punk him. Well, when he heard about it, he said he would have a clip. They went over. When they met him, he had a bag, so they went and tried to grab his bag. That's when the kid pulled the knife out and slashed them up.
Okay, well, where did the brick come into the
That's the story.
Where did the brick come into
I don't know what the brick has to do with that.
They have a self-defense case.
Exactly.
No,
it gets worse.
They went to him.
Right.
The argument is
Correct.
The other guy asked.
Correct. If that's the only crime that they're guilty of, fine, charge them with that. But let me tell you what they've charged my sons with here.
Assault.
They have charged my sons with attempted first-degree murder and put a $1 million bond on each child. Each child has never been in trouble ever. They're very active in their church. They're homeschooled. Straight A students. Both of my sons have graduated a year early.
Let me just cut this short.
These aren't punks running the street.
Let me just cut this short for you. Here's what happened. The other boy had a different story, and your boys had a story. Now,
Correct.
As a mother, you always want to believe your children. That doesn't mean that your children's story is accurate. So the police were confronted with conflicting stories. A detective or an investigator had to make a call on it, and they made a call. Now, your son is the minor. Has he been charged as an adult?
He has not. It's remained in juvenile.
But the 18-year-old's been charged as an adult.
Correct.
Okay. So the problem is, as I see it, is that they went to him. There was a knife. Did your sons incur wounds?
Yes, and they were documented, and we took them to the emergency room.
Okay.
Can you pause for a second, Dave? I want you to think about this. Her sons went to him, and when they were there, her sons attacked him first to try to grab this bag off of him,
The
thinking he had
question
a gun
the
in
police
it.
are
And then
I'll tell you what's going on here, Ron. The question the police are asking is, who brought the knife? That's what the police are asking.
Correct.
And so there's going to be DNA on that knife. They have touch DNA now. What touch DNA is that forensics has evolved so much that if I touch something like this chair, if I touch this chair, my oils on my skin leave a DNA fingerprint. So they have that weapon. If that other boy's DNA is not on that knife and your son's DNA is on that knife, you're going to have some problems as to who brought a knife to that fight. You understand what I'm saying? And
Correct.
Your lawyers should know this.
Yes, but the young boy did. He did furnish the knife. And he has no cuts on him either, by the way. And my sons walked the police and the detectives to this knife that the
what is this about a brick?
Did not
someone hit with a brick?
Oh, yeah, this is the fun part. So a woman in her 50s, about 50 yards away, heard the commotion, came outside, and she quoted to the police officers and said, "Well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they hit him with a brick or something." And the police went immediately to, "Oh, did you guys use a brick?"
Did he have any physical injuries from being hit with a brick?
Yes, absolutely. No, his face was pretty beat up, but my kids were hitting him until he would let go of the weapon.
Stand by. I want to finish with this in a minute. Stay tuned.
On TikTok,
click this link now to review my bank transfer. I didn't make a bank transfer. Ugh, another phishing message. Are you frustrated by these too? So much of our lives are online today. To make sure my information is protected, I checked out CISA's Secure Our World resources. They've got 4 simple ways we can stay safe online. First, learn to recognize and report phishing. Next, create a strong, unique password for each online account. and
will
use a
tell you
password
that.
manager if you
get
can.
self-defense,
Then turn
but
on
you can't go
multi-factor
to a
authentication
place
for extra
if you know there's
security,
gonna
and
be
you'll
a
receive a
fight,
code when logging
and your
in.
son's saying,
And
I'm going to go
finally, turn
somewhere
on
and
automatic
we're gonna
software
punk
updates
him.
for convenience
Well,
and
punk
safety.
him can mean a lot of things.
Click
Like,
here
we're
to
going to beat
track
him
my
up. We're
delivery.
going to beat,
Another
he
phishing
touched my
message.
sister. We're
But
gonna
now
teach him
I
a
know
lesson,
how to
something
protect
like that.
myself from scammers,
The
and
police
you
made
can
a
learn too.
call. I'm
Go
sure
to
you have good lawyers on it. Go with your lawyers, but I wouldn't talk
cisa.gov/secure
anymore
our
about the
world
case.
for more quick,
And we're gonna
easy
take another
tips
call
to
when
be
we come
safer
back, right?
online.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Check. That's check. Enter it now at 570wkbn.com.
Gentleman has a call right now about a roof. Go ahead, sir.
All right. What's your question, caller?
Yes, my wife signed a service agreement to have the roof looked at and file a claim with my insurance company.
Okay.
But she is not the homeowner. I am. Is that a binding contract? I called him for an estimate after I got the insurance claim approved, and he said, "No, whatever the insurance company gives you, that's what I get." And then he said, "If they don't give you enough money, you'll have to pay for anything else out of pocket."
Well, did your
And
wife?
she signed that agreement?
What's that?
She signed the agreement, but she's not the homeowner. Yes or no?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
well,
She is not on the deed, on the loan, anything.
That's your wife, though, right?
I am.
Okay. And
Is
how
that
long
your
have you
legal
been
wife?
married? How long have you
Yes.
been married?
15 years.
Hmm. So there's a doctrine in the law called apparent authority, and that's what you're going to run smack up
Okay.
against. If you try to get out of that contract, they're going to say, look, she was representative of, she's married to him, and she had the apparent authority.
They live together.
They live together. Well, it doesn't matter. They live together.
Still,
He's a
though.
wife.
Another fact.
Yeah. So if he won't let you out of the contract, try to get out of the contract. And most of these roofers under the Ohio Consumer Sales Practices Act, if they don't have a hard location, they have to give you a 3-day out clause. Is there a 3-day out clause in your contract?
Yes, there was, but I didn't realize that until the insurance company had contacted me.
Okay, caller, when you get a contract, the reason the legislature puts clauses in contracts is to protect you. So if your wife signed a contract and now all of a sudden you didn't pay attention to it until you had to come out of pocket and there was a 3-day cancellation, they have followed the law. And did they do the work?
Understood.
Yeah,
Did
did
they
they
do
do
the
the
work?
work, caller?
No.
But-
No, I got the check, and the insurance company sent me a letter saying you can get any estimate you want from anyone you want.
But you signed a contract.
And they sent me the first part of the check they sent me, and they said upon completion we will issue you the
What's the
last
roofer doing
check
now?
after
Is he letting you out of the contract or not?
I haven't spoke to him since. I asked him for an estimate, and he said, "Send me all the paperwork for the
No. Just
insurance company gives me
No.
for the quote."
No.
He wanted the list of all the
No.
materials.
No. You don't want him because you've said to me you don't want him, right?
Why don't you want this guy to do the roof?
Because
Answer the
this
question.
guy won't do it with what
No,
the
I was just asking for an estimate. The insurance company gave me the money, and I was just asking what the estimate is,
And
so
his
I
wife
know if
signed
I
a
have to
contract
come up with
to
more
do the
money.
work.
And his wife signed a contract.
Right.
That's
And
the
now
problem. That's the
I'm
problem.
merely asking him once again, just a simple question. Why do you not want this guy to do the roof?
Because he doesn't know if this guy's going to accept what the insurance company gave him, Ron.
I would like him to answer the question.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. He's exactly right.
Wow, Ron.
The insurance company gave me so much more money, and he said, "Well, any more materials we need, that will be out of your pocket. No, the insurance company won't give you any more money." And I said, "Well, aren't you going to give me an estimate on the roof?" And he said, "No, the insurance company, whatever they pay, I get, and then anything else comes out of your pocket."
No, it's worse
And
than
I
that.
just didn't feel that. I didn't feel that was right.
Caller, it's worse than that.
Yes.
Because your wife didn't sign for an estimate. She signed a contract that had a 3-day cancellation clause in it. So my suggestion to you is to call this guy and see either A, will he do it for what the insurance company said? But the fact that you now, I wouldn't trust him now because I don't know if he's going to do a good job or not. And the fact that you asked for an estimate and he had your wife sign a contract, I got to ask myself, is this someone I want to do business with? My suggestion is you call him and see if he'll let you out of the contract. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck
Thank
to
you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay,
All right, you're on the air with
when you sign a contract, that's a binding obligation. Now, breaching a contract is neither a tort, it's neither a wrong or a sin. But breaching a contract means, and what is a contract? A contract is a promise or set of promises for the non-performance of which the law provides a remedy. So you can breach a contract. You might be subject to damages. You might not. Go ahead, Ron. Next caller.
All right, you're on the air with the attorneys. Legal show brought to you by Beatrice Kopp. Hello there.
the Civil War. They thought her.
You're on the air with the attorneys.
There
Hello
we go.
there.
There we go, Ron. He gets through every week. How does he get through every week, Ron?
I don't know. I don't pay much attention to him, so let's not. You're on the air, caller. Hello.
Thank you for taking my call. I have a question. My grandson's on SSI, and every year from the Social Security Administration, he gets a letter that says he's not allowed to have more than $2,000 in a savings account.
Okay.
However, I do have life insurance policies for my grandkids in case I wind up dying. If he gets that money, how does him not being allowed to have more than $2,000 in a savings account work? What's he do with the money? Where does it go?
Do you live in Ohio, caller?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So the caller is asking me, his son's on Social Security, which means he has a disability, correct?
Grandson.
Grandson.
He has a disability, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You can do what's called in Ohio a special needs trust. What is a special needs trust? A special needs trust is a trust that you set up where that money goes into that special needs trust and the probate court supervises it. And he still gets his Social Security, but he's allowed to draw from that special needs trust if he goes to the probate court and can prove that he needs that money. At the end of his life, if there's anything left in that special needs trust, it goes to the government. So you need to find a lawyer and do a special needs trust for your disabled grandson and make the payee or the beneficiary of your life insurance policy the special needs trust. Do you understand that instruction?
Yes. My question is, what type of lawyer?
You need a lawyer that does wills and trusts and estate planning. If you call Johnson and Johnson, all right, I'm going to give you a
Wills
number.
and trust and estate planning.
I'm going to give you a number. Ready? You got a
go
pencil
ahead.
and paper? 330-533.
Hold on. I got to get the paper.
Oh,
330
533
533
1921. When
All
I
right.
need a special needs trust for a injured victim that is on disability, I go to them and they drop the special needs trust. I am the trustee, as a matter of fact, of a special needs trust. So I know all about them and how they work, and that's how you can protect your grandson. Okay?
All right. Follow through. You're on the air with Attorney Beatrice. Hello.
Dr. Verb,
Yes.
attorneys,
Go ahead.
apologies if you guys already heard this. I got a settlement notification for the class action lawsuit against Norfolk Southern for the East Palestine derailment because we live within the range.
Uh-huh.
It was out of out of New York, and I didn't know if the thing was legitimate or not. Basically, just to sign this and turn it in, and you're congratulations, part of the settlement. What do you guys know on that?
So I know they have a center in East Palestine, and it's staffed with attorneys. And if you have questions, you go down there and ask them, or you can call us and bring us the forms. We have the forms, and so that's what I suggest you do. Okay.
So are these guys just like fishing, or what? I mean,
He doesn't know till he sees the form.
Look, they have an obligation on a class action suit to notify everyone within the affected area. And so they may have hired a claims administrator that just happens to be from New York, or you're thinking it's some fugazi guy, okay, sending you some bogus forms. If you call Kenny at our office, he's very proficient in this. He'll look at it and tell you, yeah, these are the forms. Here's how you fill it out, or we can fill them out for you. Okay?
got it. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. You're on a legal show, News Radio 570 WKBN 543. Hello.
Don't shoot you. See the whites
All
of their
right, you're on the legal
Ron,
show.
Twice.
Twice, Ron.
All right. All right. Let's move along. 544, you're on the legal show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
I have a question here. I have some friends that had a medical issue, and they took this family member to a hospital. This is Western Pennsylvania. And
2 years statute.
they said, well, we can't treat that patient here. You'll have to go to another hospital. And these people are Amish, and they don't fly. And they told them 3 different people in the family said, we don't fly. And they were told by this hospital, well, we have to do what we have to do because there's no provision in the ambulance for oxygen. And so they flew this person by a helicopter. And I just found out today they sent them a bill for $25,000. And I said, it doesn't seem like they ought to be able to do that if you said they don't fly.
Well,
and I said, who would not have oxygen supply in an ambulance?
well, go ahead, Jimmy. You want to take this?
Well, the problem is he got in the helicopter and flew.
That's the problem.
So even if he told them he didn't fly, he actually got in the chopper and flew. So
And those helicopter rides are expensive,
Those
and
are
most
very
insurances don't pay for them. And whether or not, I have a feeling. Don't you think Jimmy's not telling us? We're not getting the whole story. There was an emergent situation in which they needed to get someone really fast somewhere fast. That's what I'm assuming.
I agree with you. A lot of times, some of these facilities can't treat certain patients, so
They're
they
not
immediately
at a certain trauma level.
right, like a level. If you're in a terrible accident, you go to a level 3, they can't treat you. They transport you immediately to level 1.
Right. So
what?
I suggest.
Why would they tell them that you can't go by ambulance? They don't have any oxygen in the ambulance.
because I'm assuming something here. Here's what I'm assuming. He needed more than just oxygen, and he needed to get to another place really fast, or his life was in peril. I'm assuming those facts. I could be right. I could be wrong. Okay? Nonetheless, he's alive, right?
Well, it's a she, but yes, she is.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. They'll help
So
you get
what
on a
is it-
payment
so-
plan, or
Yeah, I mean,
can negotiate
you
the
don't
bill.
have the ability to pay it. You got to work something out with them, or sometimes the problem with these, you've seen it, Jimmy, with these helicopter bills. They're really strict.
they're
about
outrageous.
them.
Yeah,
They're
they're
outrageous.
outrageous. Too.
25,000. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's not a lot. We've had a lot of clients get transported by helicopter. They're very expensive.
50, 75,000
Yeah.
typically.
Wow. All right. Thank you, caller. I know a guy that's they were thinking, Jimmy, of flying by helicopter. He had a problem with his foot. I don't know. And he just recently got his boot off today.
No,
and,
I didn't have to go by helicopter, Ron, anywhere.
It was close though.
I've been in a helicopter 2 times in my life. And in my opinion, it was 2 times too many. Now, my son, my nutty son.
Now is this when your foot was injured? Did
no,
they bring the helicopter out and
I actually
transport
took
you
a
that way?
helicopter tour one time, and I vowed never to get in another helicopter. And then I did a tour another time at the same place in the same helicopter, and that was it. Now, my son, however, who's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, he's an Army Ranger. He loves jumping out of the back of Chinook helicopters, and he fast ropes down lines out of a Chinook helicopter. I have video of him jumping into the Atlantic Ocean, doing a backflip or a front flip out of a Chinook helicopter. You won't catch me doing that.
So
I'm
could
not
you describe
jumping
to
out
our-
of a plane.
No.
I'm never parachuting.
But when you injured your foot, Dave, how did you get to medical attention right away? By ambulance,
that was
by
the
helicopter?
problem.
I mean,
I did not get medical attention right away. That's why my toe almost had to be amputated. I waited 5 days to see the doctor, which I don't recommend anyone does.
And did you drive yourself to the doctor, or did one of your
actually,
fellow
I drove
attorneys?
myself because it was my left foot, and at least I used my right foot to drive with, right?
Mhm.
So it was my left foot. I couldn't get it into a shoe. I went to a local hospital, and they said you'd have to wait 4 hours for an X-ray, and I said I have to be in court in 2 hours, and so then I called a friend of mine, Dr. Diebik, who is an excellent ankle and foot doctor. And I went to him. He took some x-rays. He came into the room and he shook his head at me and grabbed the scalpel. Well, I won't describe it any further from there. He just told me I'm lucky my toe wasn't amputated.
Well, can I ask you a question? I mean,
But
this
go
isn't
ahead
a
and
helicopter,
ask me a
and perhaps, Jimmy, you might be able to help me answer this. With this problem you had with your toe, you didn't call, why didn't you call a tow truck? I don't understand.
I don't even know how to answer him, Leo. You can't operate TikTok, and he can't operate his brain. Ron.
I mean, it's a tow truck.
Do we have any other calls, Ron?
Jimmy, that was a good one,
It
wasn't it?
was a good
Jim?
one. I had nothing to retort. It was.
I
that
know,
good.
but just your laughter gave me joy. James Melfi.
I'm
It
glad.
did. All right, so you're on the air. Hello, caller.
Hello, I have a hunting question.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh.
Okay, if a neighbor puts up a hunting stand on his property, about 30 feet on his property, but pointing at my property, my question is, can I protect myself, or do I have to wait until I get shot in the butt?
Why is he shooting at you?
Well, he's not, but unless he's Daniel Boone and he misses the deer, he's pointing right at my property where I am.
Well, if he shoots you, he's legally responsible for that. That's called negligence.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you can confuse.
But can I do?
I don't know how you can. How do you want to protect yourself? He's not. You're
He's
saying
not shooting at you.
He's not shooting at you yet.
But
And
that's
it's a
my question.
hypothetical question. Well, hypothetically, my next door neighbor might try to run me over with a car. How do I protect myself? Because they drive by my house every day, and sometimes I walk out to the mailbox. You understand what I'm saying?
But they're not driving at you. I mean,
Well, no, they are when I'm out of my
I
mailbox. They're
understand.
driving at me, and so you can't do anything until they do something. But my suggestion is you wear bright clothing, so they don't confuse you with Bambi.
Should he be even allowed to shoot a deer on this guy's property?
Probably not. That's probably
Okay.
a trespass.
So
if he
he
shoots the deer
so he
on his
should not
property,
be doing it.
his bullet is at least trespassing on his property, and that's technically
All right.
a trespass. So I don't think he's trying to shoot anything on your property. And there's not a deer stand that's pointing in one direction. A deer stand points in a lot of directions, and I don't know how far back you own, but he's allowed to harvest deer on his own property. Where do you live, caller?
Salem.
So
he's got about a 30-foot. He's got a 30-foot buffer, so he's on his property by around 30 feet. So
okay,
he's hoping
so
the deer
you
walk
what I would do
along
with you
his
is
30 feet.
call the government in Salem and see if there's any ordinances about firing a firearm within the city limits of Salem. Some cities you cannot fire a weapon in the city limits, like Youngstown. You can't fire a gun in Youngstown
Right.
unless you're protecting yourself. But they might have some exceptions for deer hunting or whatever. Okay.
All right. Good luck to
Okay,
you. You
thank-
know, Dave, you're talking about you could be going out to the mailbox and your neighbor could be
Pam would really
maybe
like that.
run you over. But that's not how I remember things in your neighborhood. I remember it was you, if I'm not mistaken, Attorney Beatrice, backing out of your driveway
No.
that backed into your neighbor
No,
who was
who was-
backing out of their driveway.
at the
That
same
is the
time.
problem.
At the
Yes.
same time. At the
Yes.
same time. We were both
So who was
negligent.
trying?
We
Who
were
was trying to
equal-
hurt who?
We were both equally negligent. I mean, I have a very short driveway. When I'm telling you, I don't think my driveway is 30 feet long. It's not 30 feet long. It's probably 18, 19 feet long.
You have a very short driveway, but you're a really bad driver.
No, Jimmy, why are you saying that about me? Frank's not
Well,
here.
it's
Brian's
rather
not
well
here.
known. It's stating the
'Cause I
obvious.
have
We all know that.
Firsthand knowledge with Frank.
Right.
Well, Frank denied getting two calls from a client. So I had to be Frank's receptionist today and Brian's receptionist today. Both
right.
of them. I had to take calls for them. I don't know. And then I had to be a
But
file
you-
clerk today. I had to go down and file
Right,
things
but
in court.
stop belly aching. Your life is better. Your toe is fixed and your dinghy's working. All right, so that's all that
Life
matters.
can't get any better than that, Ron.
You're on the air with our attorneys tonight. Hello,
Russian roulette.
you're on the air with our
Ron,
attorneys tonight.
Ron,
3.
3 times, Ron.
Hello, you're on the air, caller.
That was too much information.
Yes, go ahead.
Ask the expert. If somebody knowingly neglects and violates the law and it leads to somebody else losing their life, is that considered negligent homicide?
It's considered wrongful death from a civil standpoint. And depending on the facts, it could lead to a criminal charge. But it is definitely a wrongful death suit in Ohio.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I appreciate it. I wanted that clarified. And I'm asking in regards to what happened downtown.
Well, what happened downtown is all the facts aren't out yet. We are representing a majority of the people down there. It is a
Well,
tragic
one of the-
situation. And the question becomes, who knew what, when, and where? All the facts aren't out yet. We're digging into it. Stay tuned, and we'll keep you abreast.
Well, if you don't follow the law from the onset, I should think you would be responsible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that's another thing that we should watch as it unfolds. 5:54. You're on the air with our attorneys tonight.
Hello, gentlemen. Question. Recently inherited a condo in Florida with my siblings. In my father's wisdom, he put 4 of us as equal co-trustees, and the condo association only wants 1 trustee, and after we decide who 1 trustee is, they only let that person benefit instead of all the children and grandchildren. Is there anything we could do?
Maybe. I mean, how are they going to know who's going in and out?
Technically, we have to notify them in writing 2 weeks in advance.
Of what?
Going to your condo that you own?
Yeah.
Yes, isn't it ridiculous?
No, there's something doesn't smell. Where is this condo in Florida?
Sarasota.
Why don't you give Brian Kopp at our office a call tomorrow? I'm sure he could help you figure that out. All right?
I will be glad to do that. Appreciate it.
Because we have an
All
office in Sarasota.
Thank you.
We have an office in Tampa, and Brian just bought a big condo overlooking the ocean. I overlook Barbie Drive in Boardman.
Right.
Brian overlooks the ocean.
Dave has
I'm trying to think whose
said
career went up and whose career just sort of leveled out. What do you if you had to take a guess, Ron, what would you say?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I think yours has gone up, from a young man working at the Brown Derby on South Avenue to where you are today.
From a young man in Hello Dolly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. From your thespian career and waiting tables at the Brown Derby and working there, look where you are today. So I think your career turned out just fine.
I was just telling someone this. Since I've been 16 years old, I have worked every day of my life. Well, not every day, but I've worked. The only time I didn't work was my first year of law school. Other than that, I've worked my whole life. And it's depressing, Ron. I know you had to do this already. I had to get on Social Security and sign up for Medicare Part B. I feel bad for some people. They try to negotiate through that. It was brutal. Get this. It wasn't a terrible experience.
No, you just do it online. There's nothing to it.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing
So
at
they
all.
make you the 2-factor authentication, 3-factor authentication.
Oh, it's really easy. It really is. And
I-
you know what that is, though, Dave? That's your federal government telling you, get your affairs in order. You're getting old. That's what you should keep in
And
mind
I'm not
when you
65
qualify.
yet, but I got a notice in the mail that you get fined or something if 3 months before you turn 65, you don't do it. So everyone at the office here is making fun of me.
Right. I'm going to tell you, sign up for Medicare Part A only. All right. That's what you should do.
I have hospitalization.
Yeah,
already.
but you would still want Part A is free. It doesn't cost you
No,
anything.
but you don't get it. They're secondary Part A, and my hospitalization is really good. So I only signed up for B because if you don't sign up for B, you get fined.
All right. Well, whatever. There you have it. What's happening tomorrow morning on
I'm going to talk
WFMJ
about
today?
the assassination attempt, believe it or not, on the former president and the legal implications from that. So tune in. It's not going to be a political. It's going to be a legal analysis of what happened and what can and cannot be done in that situation. So tune in. And I want to just tell
a quick
everyone,
question.
stay off the
Would-
internet. The place to get your information is not the internet. There are so many wild conspiracies out there. It is amazing. I thought maybe we'd be less conspiratorial since the JFK assassination. It is just amplified now. Barack Obama did it. BlackRock did it. This person did it. This person did it. It's just amazing.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Legal
All right,
show
TikTokers,
every
that's it.
every Thursday, 5 o'clock. News Radio 570.
The Republican National Convention.